got something to show you. We're going to talk today about exhaust modes, tips for C8, C7 tow hooks, maintenance schedule for C8, and front lift issues on C8.
And now it's time for Tech Tuesday, featuring advice you want to hear from the man that has true passion for his job. Do you want it done right, or do you want it done right now? Other technicians can't wait to ask him a question. He's not your mom. He's the star of Tech Tuesday, Chuck Metz.
So what'd you guys think of that? Look at that, Chucky. You got your own star.
That's
by the
nice.
way, I just need you to sign that to my good friend Rick.
Uh-huh. You got your wallet with you?
Charge you for autographs.
Speaking of which, I've got something to show you. See that elongated pedal there on the right-hand side, that long one?
Yeah, the one on the right there, what's that?
Hey, yeah, that's called the accelerator pedal. Was there something underneath yours when you was at pit race? Because I seen Ryan, you know, with the PDR, his was all green, yours was only about halfway. So I can only assume there was something under the pedal.
Can you believe this?
I was just asking.
I had a good time at pit race.
Well, good.
I don't know what the hell my problem was. I'm looking at the PDR footage, yelling at myself, what's wrong with you? Hit the gas! Just like you guys. It was a great experience for me to share with everybody. So thank you for the people that did watch that on our Sunday Coffee with Conti show. Again, sharing and inspiring you, different things you can do in your Corvette. I told you before, I think it was last week, I was talking about how much I just really love driving this car. And driving in an autocross and driving at those speeds, you really appreciate the finesse of C8.
Absolutely.
Man, I had such a great time. In fact, today at pit race, they actually have some, not us, we just have fun, but they have some YouTube influencers there today driving the Z06, and you'll see those videos coming up starting on Monday, October 3rd.
Great,
The internet will be inundated with that. And in fact, we should have, at the time of filming this, there should be, fingers are crossed, that there's a Z06 announcement coming from the National Corvette Museum and the Motorsports Park. Hang on, we got the press release from the Corvette Museum. Check this out, guys. This is fantastic. This is fun news. NCM Motorsports Park has become the nation's first commercialized track with Z06 fleet. Today, the NCM Motorsports Park announced the expansion of its vehicle fleet with the introduction of 2 Z06 Corvettes, making the MSP Motorsports Park the first and only commercialized track in the nation to offer consumer driving experiences in the much anticipated new Corvette Z06 model. Okay, so the track is going to offer guests an experience, power performance. You're going to get 4 driving laps in a lead-follow format. It's a 3.2-mile course with 23 turns. Now, check this out. Guests can also purchase a Fast Pack, which will allow you to do launch control, basically 0 to 60 on a straightaway, and a hot lap driven by a Motorsports Park professional. The Z06 is for the NCM, is going to be built in November. You can start reservations. Yes, the edge. Don't go there yet. Let me go first. It's up on the screen right now, motorsportspark.org. This is going to be fun when we get down there. We'll vlog some of that for you guys and share the experience. This is probably going to be the only way that I'll ever drive a Z06, but I'm doing it, man. Way to go. Thank you, National Corvette Museum and the Motorsports Park. Nice job. I want to drive that damn car on the track.
All right.
And before we get, I know you're in a hurry. I just want to thank the folks at Paragon Performance for inviting Chuck and I to the recent Corvette open house on Saturday. We couldn't make it there. Should have made it there because I didn't do my autocross in Perrysburg that I intended to do anyway. So they had a great turnout. We got a couple of pictures from that coming up at the end of today's upload in our ride segment. Some of your emails now. Chuck, if you would, please.
Yes. This one comes from Brian. Says, I know you guys are busy, man. Quick question. I have a new 23 C8 Z51 with the front lift, and the reservoir is bone dry. After I refill the reservoir, do I need to bleed the system? I haven't noticed any leaks on the ground, so I don't know why it's empty. The car currently has 1,700 miles. Do my caps look defective?
Oh, hang on one second. I'm actually going to show you guys while Chuck looks at these pictures to answer this question. Here's the pictures that he sent us, and you can see that the reservoir is completely empty. Okay, what do you got for him?
There really should be no reason the reservoir's completely empty unless you have a leak, but it says here you're not seeing anything on the ground. The bleed system, to bleed that system pretty in depth, you have to have some special tools and GM scanner to put the module into bleed parameter before you can bleed it. And remember, guys, these new brakes and these front lifts aren't like the brakes of old.
Right.
It's all electronic. It's totally different. So
Right.
just be careful with, if you're not having an issue, I would probably just fill the reservoir up and keep an eye on it. Now, if you have a problem with the front lift system not working or the service front lift system, then I would worry possibly about bleeding it. But if you're not having any issue other than the reservoir's empty, I would probably just fill it and just keep an eye on it.
Now, there's some other issues that we saw in all these multitude of memos regarding this that could be causing an issue with the front lift system, and it's important to let you guys know.
I know a lot of these aftermarket companies are selling lowering kits for these C8s. As long as you don't have a front lift system, you can probably get away with most of them. Be very careful with the front lift system, because if you lower them down too far, you now cause an external leak in the front shocks, and that's not a warranted item. GM's already put a bulletin out on it, so if you lower your vehicle down and then have a front lift system problem, they're not going to warranty it. So be careful with what you do.
Just like me driving my car on the track, if something happens on the track because I'm on the track, it's not covered under warranty. We've talked about that in the past. Let's talk about maintenance in regards to C8 Corvette. Continued conversation, and we will have to continue it as more cars get into the marketplace, buying new, buying used. Confusion out there when to do your oil change. You had a question last week. The guy did it early. You answered it correctly, and he said, well, should I do it again at 7,500? And you actually had a visit from one of the Corvette engineers here at the dealership. What did he tell you?
He said, absolutely. If you're doing it early, you still have to have it done at 7,500 miles, because they want that 7,500 miles on it to help get all the debris out. So yes, even if you do it early, you need to do it again at 7,500.
And here's where it's confusing. If you look in your owner's manual, it gives you a maintenance schedule. Chuck and I constantly have debates on this. First one is at 7,500 miles. DCT canister, top off your fluid, do your oil change. We were told at training 3 years ago. Even the engineers are telling you this, and some of my contacts at Chevrolet are saying the same thing. It's every 7,500 miles. But if you read the owner's manual, it tells you 7,500 for the first one, and the next one at 22,500 miles, unless you're driving aggressively like I do, and I've shared with you guys on the channel. So there's some confusion. We're still at the every 7,500, and wouldn't you agree?
I would, yes.
Better to be safe than sorry.
I mean, you're only doing one extra one between the 7,500 and the 22.5, so yeah,
Right, absolutely.
I probably would. I don't think these cars can actually be over-serviced.
Well, it's a new era for us in this car in regards to ownership and maintenance and delicate issues in regards to this transmission. So
Yeah.
I say, yeah, if you guys can do it every 7,500. If you're doing it early, still do it at the plateau of 7,500, and therefore, here's the other thing you have to do, which I'm up on, and I got a schedule with you to get it done. At 22,500 miles, you also have to change out the interior cabin air filter. So that's important to know too. As far as changing out the entire fluid, that's been confused. A lot of people thought at 22,500 miles, you would drop all the fluid and change out two filters. There's a bottom flat filter and there's a DCT canister. When I get ready to do mine, because it's 3 years or 45,000 miles, we'll share that with you on the channel so you get an idea what that entails, besides dollars. I know he's already laughed at me. He's, oh, that was gonna cost you a bunch.
Yeah, it is.
Like, I'm real flexible with your money. Whatever, continue.
Uh-huh. This one, I don't know where this one come from a 610 area code.
Okay.
Says, hi Rick, just purchased a 2017 2LT Stingray. Can't find where to put the tow hooks in the front. Don't they all come with this feature? Thanks, George. Oh, George in Pennsylvania. Like your YouTube videos, very helpful. Rather than me tell you, George, let's just show you. Come on over here and let's take a look. On the right front of the Stingray or the Z06s, you can see the round hole. That's where the tow hook goes in it.
So you just go right through the grill.
Right through the grill. You don't got to take nothing off, just right through the grill, screw it in. On the back, and they're all the same, you have this closeout panel right here. Just take something and pop this out, and that exposes the hole where this goes in the
Like
rear.
a flathead screwdriver, something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just be careful not. Whoop.
Emergency.
Be careful not to scratch the paint, and you don't have to leave this in. Once you get this popped out, you can work it out, take it out, and leave the hook in.
Okay, here's one from Robert. He says, Rick and Chuck, I love the Tech Tuesdays. Thank you for all the information you provide on both of your YouTube channels. Got a couple of questions for you related to the performance exhaust settings on my C8 Corvette. I hope you can answer. First question is very simple. Can you tell me how to open the exhaust valves in the 4 different modes? Let's hop in the car and show you. Okay, Bob, I hope this helps you and some others that have C8 in regards to the different modes in which you can open or close the performance exhaust. We'll get to the mode selector in just a moment. First, on your main home screen, go into your settings button and go to the vehicle tab, drive mode customization. 2 things you actually can control what we're talking about is either my mode or Z mode. The Z mode button is right here in the steering wheel. My mode is a function of the mode selector. When you go into my mode, you can control a number of things you see here. If you've got suspension, you can adjust the feel there, steering, the brake feel, the engine sound in my mode. But when you turn this to the right, and you notice by the little road, I'm in touring mode. So when I go to the right, I go to sport mode. And this changes, these are preset settings. You can't change this, but you are stiffening up the car. If you've got suspension, you're changing the engine shift, the brake feel, the steering feel, and the exhaust sound is automatic open. Same thing in track. Everything is much heavier there, and I tell folks, track is for the track. Keep in mind, if you keep it in track mode and turn the car off and turn it back on, it will not be in track mode, but it will stay in sport mode. Again, the My Mode is a feature of the mode selector, so let's go into the customization for it, and let's turn on the exhaust. You've got track there. You can go to sport sound, you can go to touring sound, or you can go to stealth sound. That's how you hit those buttons across to actually make those adjustments. All right, hang on, let's go back there for a second. Okay, let's go to track. We'll keep it in there. Should ask me, yes, I'm going to confirm it. So when I'm turning this, and keep in mind you can turn this while you're driving. I'm in track mode. I'm going to go to the left just to spring load, turn to sport, just turn it like that, go back to touring, one more over to my mode, and now I've changed the setup of the car to exhaust sound only. If you keep it in my mode and turn the car back on, it will stay in my mode and your exhaust will start with it open as you wish. If you go to Z mode, you've got some customizations there too. You can play around with the exhaust sound, suspension again if you have magnetic ride control. This is really a function for folks that get set up, pre-set up before you go to the track. And keep in mind, if you're in Z mode, turn the car off. When you turn it back on, it'll default into touring mode. So play around with those mode settings. In the My Mode and the Z Mode, you can control what you want, right down to steering feel, accelerator, braking feel, suspension if you have mag ride, and exhaust sound. If you go all the way to the far left, it gives you weather mode. It'll show you here nothing's really changed in the setup of the feel of the car, but you do get some enhanced traction in weather mode. And he's got a second question. If I get in the car and I put it in accessory mode before startup and set the exhaust to stealth, will it truly start in stealth mode? I don't think you can do that. Let's go back in the car and show you. Can you put the car in stealth mode if you have it in accessory mode before you start the car? I would just play around in that My Mode. I guess if you started in touring, when you first started, it does have a little bit more rumble, and then she comes down. But let's put the car in accessory mode. So we do have activity in the screen, but drive mode customization is grayed out, and what I suspected, setting is unavailable. You've got to turn the vehicle on to actually do that. So the answer to your second question is no. That one was a little weird. To start it in, there's a lot of work to put it in stealth mode to start it. It's not really, the C8 exhaust itself, even when it's open, is not that awfully loud.
Right.
You know, so if the neighbors don't like it, tell them to move.
Exactly.
All right, and one more before the ride segment. Go ahead, Chuck.
All right, this one comes from George. Says, really enjoy both of you on the show. Chuck might be the rock star, but you are the ringleader. There you go. I have a 23 70th on order. I screwed the order up and did not include the black exhaust tips on the order. Can I order the exhaust tips from GM and have them installed after I receive the car?
Didn't somebody ask you that in the shop recently?
Yeah, you did. Unfortunately, no, you cannot. The exhaust tips are not separate from the exhaust system. You'd have to get a whole new muffler system with the exhaust tips because they're welded on.
Damn,
So,
damn.
unfortunately.
Those things look great too, man. They
Yeah.
really do. And they flange out a little bit, and some people say it actually gives a little bit more of an exhaust note because of the way that they're tapered when they come off.
Yeah, we've got a few in. I like them, but no, they have to be ordered with the car, or you replace the whole muffler system.
A quick one, but a fun one today. Our rock star Chuck's got a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Ringleader Rig.
That's right. But we had a lot of fun today. It was a short one, but thank you. I think a lot of you, besides the people that sent in those specific emails, can benefit from the feedback today. That is what Tech Tuesday is all about. You got a question, how to use something, you got a problem that Chuck and I can help you troubleshoot, please send us those emails. We'll get to as many as we can each and every week. Pop. I get so ticked off when that thing goes off. Okay, thank you. All right, so we are done for sure. But before you go, we always love to wrap up with some great looking cars. And once again, this week, it won't disappoint. These are some hot looking cars, man. These are your beautiful rides. Make sure you subscribe, like this video, and make those comments down below. Chuck and I love hearing from you guys.
I was too young, and I didn't understand that you were the one, and I can't wait to see you hindsight is fleeting, when your heart's bleeding, and all you can see is red, till you discover it is within each other to forgive and make amends. If I had known then, or what I know now, I wouldn't have said what I said. I took the long road, thought I'd be better on my own. Sometimes what's right is wrong instead, 'cause I was too young, and I didn't understand that you were the one, and I can't wait to see you again. Oh, I can't wait, I can't wait, I can't wait, 'cause I was too young, and I didn't understand that you